What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the next part in the journey through CCR album review series. We got Nick, Jason, and Scott. Hard pointing this way for some reason. Joining me for this installment, we'll be reviewing their sixth studio album, Pendulum. How's everybody doing tonight?
I got one question for you. I want to know, have you ever seen The Ring?
Well, like what I said in the comments and on the live, I saw rain yesterday. It was raining.
I didn't see The Rain, but I saw both today.
Now we just need to know who'll stop the rain.
Yeah, now who will stop the rain?
Going on, Tyler?
Good evening.
No, well, seems like I just saw you.
Yeah. Behind the scenes. All right. Before we begin our review of the album, we got a little bit of
background information.
So the album Pendulum was released on December 9th, 1970, their second release that year following Cosmo's Factory by 5 months. This album is known for being the only CCR album not to contain any cover songs. John Fogerty wrote all 10 tracks on this album. This was also a last. This was the final CCR album where John Fogerty had full creative control on a CCR album because there started to be some tension within the band by the time they were recording this album. Especially with this album between John Fogerty and his brother Tom. They really could not get along while making this album, and it got pretty ugly to the point where after the release of Pendulum, Tom Fogerty left the band, reducing CCR to a trio, and there was more creative differences with the group that led to the infamous Mardi Gras album, which we'll get to next time.
If you want to know how far apart the band was or Tom was from, look on the back. We got the 3 guys, and then look, Tom is in the other window.
Oh wow, that's a clear indicator right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's real interesting is musically they do some really cool experimentation on the album. This whole album took a month to complete, which was an unusually long time for the band because on past recordings they rehearsed the songs before entering the studio. But on this album, they learned the songs in the studio and then recorded it. And then they did vocal and instrumental overdubs. John Fogerty and Cook did a lot of cool overdubs on the album. And John Fogerty, like you look at the production on this album, and he does so many instrumental stuff on this album. Like he'll play the piano and he'll play the organ, and he does this whole saxophone section at one point. It's crazy how much he provides musically on this album, much like in Cosmo's Factory. The reviews for Pendulum were still pretty good. This was still a very top-selling album. Probably not as successful as their previous albums, but it spawned 2 top 10 hits. And there are fans of this album even to this day, even though some will say this marked the beginning of the end for CCR as a band. What are everybody's first thoughts on, I don't know, first thoughts. I think you guys have heard the album before, but brief thoughts on Pendulum.
Yeah, this is a step down from their previous. I'd say a step down from their previous 5 albums.
Yeah.
I know. I nicknamed this their equivalent of Buffalo Springfield's Last Time Around.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of agree. There's definitely from the first album all the way to Cosmo's Factory, there's like a gradual going up, and then it hits Cosmo's Factory. That's like the peak. And this one, we're going down into Mardi Gras, basically. So, yeah, first time I heard it, I thought it was still a pretty good album. Re-listening to it again, I don't think I liked it as much as I did the first time, to be honest.
Okay, so yes, Cosmos Factory was their creative peak. Yes, this album is not as good as most of what came before it, but I actually really like this album.
Okay.
I may be the most positive on this album. I really dig the experimentations they're doing with like the keyboards and the horns. John Fogerty was a big fan of like R&B and soul music, kind of like the sounds that were coming from Stax Records, Motown Records, stuff like that. And he wanted to add more of that influence into CCR's music. You definitely can hear that on this record. I will say there is one particular song that they should have not put on this album. We'll get to that later. But honestly, for me, I generally like most of the stuff on this album. I dare say like this album better than their first album. And for me, it's their most underrated album in their catalog.
All right. So my thoughts. I do think this album is a step down, especially from the past CCR albums. This is probably my least favorite CCR album, if I'm being honest, pre-Mardi Gras. But with that said, there are still some hidden gems on the album. Some occasional great songs. One really bad stinker song that we'll get to. But like this album to me is more of a disappointment than it is an outright bad album. And I'll dive more into that when we go track by track. We got Tyler again saying we saw the rain this past week.
Too much of it. Too much of it.
But, yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get there when we get there. But first we go to our album opener, and it's very bizarrely titled Pagan Baby.
Pagan Baby. Yeah, this is my second least favorite song on the album. I like it vocally a lot. I'll give my ratings on some of these songs. I gave this an 8 out of 10 because I think vocally it's great, but musically it's okay, and it does go on for a little too long.
Yeah, I was just trying to think. This might be the weakest opener to a song so far. I mean,
Easily.
I was trying to, because then we have like Down on the Corner. Was that?
Yes.
Okay.
Put a spell on you.
Put a spell on you.
Born
on the Bayou. Ramble Tamble.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's the weakest song so far is
Green River.
Because they usually do pretty good on the openers from what I like you guys were saying right there. Yeah, from what I remember, I like this opener. For me, I don't know. I didn't like the way the guitar sounded on here. It had this weird note that kept hitting. It was like, wah, wah. It was off-putting, and I was like, oh, it just sounded off and annoying, and it really hurt. I mean, you got the great, Fogerty vocals here. The instrumentation's usually pretty good overall, but I don't know. Something about the song just annoyed me. That the guitar sound and everything, and even Fogerty's voice wasn't my favorite. Not my favorite vocals on the album either. It was, definitely one of my least favorite on the album.
My biggest gripe with this album is the bookends. Like, this song is not a good opener. Like, you should have put "Have You Ever Seen the Rain" as this. That's the album opener. That would have been this album might be a lot better with a little resequencing. Well, and a different closing track. I'll talk more about that when we get to the closing track, because the bookends are my biggest gripe with this album. I like the guitar riff. I like the guitar. It's a good jam, but that's about it. I don't really care too much for Fogerty's singing on this, which is odd because Fogerty's a very good singer, and very rarely do I think I don't really like his singing. I just kind of like the instrumentation on this song, and that's all I can really give it. It's not a particularly well-written song, which is, again, very odd for John Fogerty, who writes songs that just stick with you, like Proud Mary and Looking Out My Back Door, Fortunate Son. But there are very good songs on this album. It's just you have to get through this one to get to them.
Yeah, this is definitely a poor album opener. I don't think I'd be as harsh on this track if it was not the opening track.
Yeah.
I think the next song would have been a better way to open this album. And also, Scott, I will say, I think Have You Ever Seen the Rain would have been even better if it was the closing track. But we'll get there when we get there. This one goes on too long. To me, it feels longer than the 11 minutes of I Heard It Through the Grapevine. And I love I Heard It Through the Grapevine. So
It does feel longer than that.
that this song feels longer than the 11-minute track. Fogerty sounds weird on this song. It kind of rubs me off the wrong way. I like the guitar work on it, but aside from that, it's a really, really lackluster song. And it's my second to least favorite song on this whole album.
I'll also say it feels longer than Graveyard Train as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those are long songs.
Well, now we go to the song that I feel like would have been a better album opener. That is Sailor's Lament.
Yeah, I agree with you. This is an outstanding song. I love the keyboard part on this. It's bum 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 bum. I like the background vocals too.
Yeah.
Shame is a shame. A great song. If there's a song that I'm hoping Jason likes the most, it's probably this song. Because I feel like this would be up Jason's alley.
Yeah, I really like the song. Definitely much better than the first song. But yeah, definitely very catchy. I just love how he starts it off singing, and then that backing, like you said, the best part is that backing vocal. It's shame, bump, a shame. After about every line he sings throughout the song, and yeah, I thought it worked really, really well. Yeah, it's one of my favorite on the album.
Nice.
This is really cool. This is where John Fogerty is starting to add in that organ, that soul influence. Boom, dun 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 dun. Shame, it's a shame. And the other members proving why they can sing background vocals, not lead vocals.
Yeah.
I always like it whenever they sing background vocals, like on I Hoid It Through the Grapevine.
Hoid it through the
I hoid it through the grapevine. But yeah, cool organ on here. Stu Cook and Cosmo Clifford are laying down a solid rhythm track here. Yeah, this is so much better than the first track, and it kind of shows where the rest of the album is going. I don't think the first song is very representative of the rest of the album.
Yeah, I really like this song. Very underrated track. I do see the soulful influences in the song. There's some really cool horns on the track that I really like. It stands out. And then you got the backing vocals, which complement John so well on this song. Like the shame, it's a shame. It's very, very hummable too. One of my favorites on the album. All right, we go from Sailor's Lament to the Chameleon.
Okay, Chameleon. This song's weird. So I'm not saying the song itself is weird, but this song's weird because there's two songs that. Okay, so I said this about a lot of songs from the Buffalo Springfield album that I really like aspects of the song, but there's just I just don't. To me, I don't hear any passion on this song. There's qualities I like a lot about it. Like I think vocally it's good. I think musically it's good. I think lyrically it's good. It's just I don't know. I could already hear the deterioration of Fogerty and Tom on this song.
Yeah, actually, I like the song overall. I thought it was pretty good. I like the horns here. Throughout the album, there's some pretty good horns on some songs. Also, I think the drumming is really good, and I like the drumming throughout the album. I kind of really keyed in on when I was listening to the album. Those two things really good. And also, I thought the chorus was pretty catchy overall. not quite my top 5, but I thought that's still a pretty good song on here.
I like this song. I think it's fun. I love how they're playing around with those horns on here in the middle. I like the chorus. You keep on changing your face like a chameleon. I will say though, even though I say that I like a lot of these songs, most of the songs on this album aren't going to be in like my top Creedence Clearwater Revival songs. I think they're fun and they're cool for what they are. It's kind of like a cool little sound experiment. But if I was making like a CCR playlist of like their greatest songs, not really a lot of these would be on there.
I see. I'm kind of with you on that because I gave this a 9 out of 10. So I thought it was good on the listen, but like this isn't a song that I would say you have to listen to.
Yeah, I don't really find myself reaching for this album very often. Like if I'm gonna play Creedence, I feel like the ones I play the most are Cosmos Factory or Willie and the Poor Boys or Green River. Those are the 3 that I'm reaching for the most. Not really this one.
For me, this song is just okay. I love the horn section on it, and it's got a good chorus, but it doesn't stand out compared to their earlier stuff. I will say it's a heck of a lot better than the opening track, so I'll give it credit for that. But it's still not my favorite. Now we go to the big hit from the album. It reached number 8.
Not even number 2.
No, it didn't go to number 2, but at least it made the top 10.
Yeah.
That is, I don't know. Have you ever seen the rain?
Yeah, the song is excellent. This made my top 5. Someone told me long ago. I know it's been a minute for some time. And what makes the song great, not its catchiness, not its vocal performance, but its subtlety of what was to come, and that's the meaning of the song. So this song was supposed to be about John Fogerty's disdain towards the band and how he's getting tired of it, and basically the rain is basically all the madness that's going to happen to the band, and the sunny day was the past and all the enjoyment he had for the band. So it's like, have you ever seen the rain coming down? Sunny day. Sunny day is literally like their success and the band and all that. That's like, and the rain is like all the drama that's going on behind the scenes.
I'm pretty sure that John was optimistic that like after a lot of the drama happened, it would clear up because it says when it's over, so they say it'll rain a sunny day.
Yeah, but as we all know, it didn't happen.
Sadly not.
Yeah, this is I'll let Jason and Scott do the rest.
Yeah, this is top tier CCR. This is top 10, top 5 all time song for me. Absolutely love this song. I love songs about rain, or they do a really good job with songs on rain or the moon or whatever. I don't know. It's like something about the sky. I don't know. They do a good job with. Yeah, I love the acoustic guitar. What I love about the song at the beginning with the acoustic guitar, dun 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 dun, and then the bass, bum 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 bum. Like, oh, sounds so amazing. And then and then he gets right into that first verse. Like, I love that first verse that Nick was doing there. I don't know why I love that, and I love how his vocally. Oh, it's so amazing when he gets in that, like he was singing there. I know. It's been so. Oh my gosh! When he gets into that, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so good. It's like it's good without being too overpowering. Like he can be a little overpowering songs, but it's like he's keeping it in control and still being like singing pretty loud and really great. And it's one of the great choruses. I mean, you cannot not sing to that chorus when it comes on. It's one of the best that they've ever done, in my opinion.
What's kind of sad about these last 2 Creedence albums is that the best song sticks out like a sore thumb. Like on every other Creedence album, like there's like 2 or 3 songs where you're like, no, I can't pick the best. Even like Cosmos Factory, pretty much every song on the album, you're like, I can't pick the best one. But then on this album and the next album, it's like, yeah, no, there's one song on here that just is obviously the best one here, and that's this song here. This song, like Nick was talking about, is just very fitting for what was going on with the band. There's a lot of rain, meaning like trouble within the band. John Fogerty is singing his heart out on this song. I love the guitar playing, and I love how like the piano does like those boo doo 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 things in between every time before they go back to the verse. I think that's really cool. I will say of the two Rain songs, I think I slightly prefer Who Will Stop the Rain, but I love both of them. They're both absolutely amazing. This is a fantastic song. This is up to par with some of the best stuff on the other albums.
Yeah, this is an amazing song. What more needs to be said? Contender for one of the all-time great CCR songs. Probably some of the best lyrics out of any CCR song, which I think had a deeper meaning when you realize it's about the fractured tensions within the band. What's funny is a lot of people, when the song first came out, thought the song was symbolic of the uncertainty of what the world was like at the time with Vietnam. But
that's more Who Will Stop the Rain.
Yeah, but no, it's about the band. No politics this time. But I love this song. Some of Fogerty's best vocals. I like how laid back the production is too. It's mostly just the guitar and a piano-led bass. It's an amazing track. I don't really have much else to add, except that I think it should have been the closer. But I'll save that.
Great
Then we'll
closer.
get there.
I think there's another song that I think I would have liked to be the closer. I want this to be the opener.
All right. The last song on side one is Wish I Could Hide Away.
I absolutely adore this song. I'd say this is easily one of the more underrated songs on this album. It has such a ominous like chord in the beginning. And it's so soulful. I absolutely adore this song. It's like a top 3 song on the album for me. I really enjoy this song.
I really like the song too. It's I was gonna say the same thing. It's one of the kind of deep tracks, hidden tracks that are really good discovery on that album. Not one of the big hits, of course. It's a little slower moving, but I think that helps the vocals. I don't know. Fogerty's vocals really shine, I thought, in this song with the slower style. You got the organ. Yeah, there's a lot of organ on this album. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. I like it here. The bass too. I think the organ and the bass work really well together on this song. And Nick, it's one of the top songs here.
I was counting on you not liking this song. I thought the slowness would get to you, actually.
Yeah, I liked it.
I can't get a read on it. Actually, I'm 50-50 on you right now. I'm reading to you.
I think this should have been the closer.
Okay.
Yes, I agree.
This would have been like have you ever seen The Rain open it with just kind of like there's this tension going on, and then this is the closer. It's kind of like I guess we got the bad ending because this song is so ominous. You start out with there's like that organ, and then John Fogerty. Oh my goodness, the vocal performance when he's like goodbye, goodbye. Oh, it's kind of slower, but then it like keeps building and building, and then it calms down, and then it builds again, and then it calms down, and then at the very end, it just kind of like gets quieter and quieter, and it's just him and the organ. It's like this song is so moody. I love this. This is one of my favorite songs on the album, and I really wish that this was the closer.
Yeah, I can see this being a good closing track. But yeah, this is another awesome song on this album. The organ playing just adds this chill factor to the song that makes it really stand out. It's a great ballad. Fogerty's vocals, oh my goodness, they are amazing on this song. Like he really This is probably one of the more soulful songs on the album. Kind of reminds me a little bit of "Long as I Can See the Light," with just how high John Fogerty can hit some of these notes, and then it culminates in the "Wish I could find a way." Man, if I was ranking these songs just on vocal performance, this would probably be my favorite song on the album. But
Yeah, this probably is the best vocal performance on the album.
but as is, it's in my top 5 for sure. It is really good. And then we go where Scott has the record, so we'll flip the record over the side 2.
Their heads.
Beginning with
Heads or tails? Tails.
Yep. Born to Move, open side 2.
Yeah, yeah, this is the second song I gave a 9 out of 10 to. It's another song that I like. There's aspects of it that I enjoy. Like, again, I think the vocal performance is outstanding. I think musically it's great. I think the lyrics are pretty good too, but the song goes on forever. Lord, bloody minutes. Bitch, man, I'm bullshit. But yeah, this song goes on for too long. I feel like if it cut down to like for like a 2.5 minutes, I feel like the song would be like in my top 5. But yeah, this song just goes on too long. That's my big gripe on it.
Yeah, what I don't like about the song, again, you got the horns here, pretty good, vocally good. There's a guitar solo in here, pretty good. But then there's this really boring like organ solo in the song that really killed the whole song for me. I was like, oh my god, yeah, I kind of agree. It kind of dragged. And
Yeah, that's like the big problem with that song is the organ.
Yes.
While the organ worked great on "Wish I Could Hide Away," this one's like, can it go away now?
yeah, it really dragged the song. Where I was like, the song got real boring, real fast, and I came away like not really liking the song, to be honest.
I like this song, but I agree it's maybe 2 minutes too long. Because like for what it is, it doesn't really merit being as long as it is. Even though it's not really that long, it doesn't really merit being as long as it is. I like the "Come on, people, teach yourself to move." I like that part. That part's fun. I like the bow, 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 bow. It's fun. It gets you moving, but like a little bit too long.
I'm in a similar boat with Scott. I think overall this is a pretty good song. This again feels more like an R&B soul style, Motown inspired, Otis Redding inspired type track. Actually, more I think about it, more so like Wilson Pickett. Like I can picture Wilson Pickett singing this song, and it'd be really awesome. Which is kind of full circle because on the first album, CCR covered a Wilson Pickett song, 99 and a half Won't Do. Love that song. I do think it does go on a little too long. I don't mind the organ solo. I think it's pretty cool, but I think it's just John Fogerty's playing the organ too much. He forgot how to stop playing. So maybe if it was a 3-minute song instead of a 5-minute song, maybe it would have been better. But it's still a really enjoyable song. Just not in my top 5. Maybe would have been in my top 5 if the organ solo was trimmed. Now we go to the second single from this album. It was like the double A side with "Have You Ever Seen the Rain?" So this also went to number 8 on the charts. Hey, tonight, don't worry tonight, tomorrow.
Yeah, this we're not getting the sing along we did the last album review.
So,
Come on, everybody, let's sing "Chameleon."
Pendulum.
Yeah, like it went like chameleon.
Chameleon.
well,
Guys,
Cosmo's Factory felt like CCR's loose greatest hits album. This is just, well, most people know like 2 songs, and the rest it's like, what the heck is this album?
hey guys, let's sing along to "Rude Awakening."
Number two.
Okay, now for my review on "Hey Tonight." Yeah, this song's great. Hey Tonight, great song. This barely missed out in my top 5. It was this song against another song. I was like, yeah, I'll go with the other song just because of how great it is. But yeah, this song's great too. I gave this a 10 out of 10. Like my top 6, I would call it, are just top tier songs on the album.
Yeah, this is a top tier, again, a top tier CCR song, along with Have You Ever Seen the Rain? Those two are definitely the strongest songs for me here. And it's got to be that. It's maybe my favorite intro of the whole album. I love this intro, and I don't know if it sounds like 2 guitars playing. I'm not sure, but it's just a really fascinating how it's like dan 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 dan. I don't know. They're playing like 2 things kind of at the same time. Oh man, the guitar sounds amazing. Love how that starts, and then we go right into Hey Tonight. Like they hit you right away. Like there's no slow gradual into the chorus. We're gonna hit you with the chorus. Hey Tonight. Oh, it's amazing. I love that intro with the beginning of the Hey Tonight vocally. Like I said, it's amazing. It's one of my favorite songs from them. It's a great one.
Yeah, this song is great. I love the guitar intro. Why? Pedal point. If you know, you know. Musical term. But the guitar intro is really cool. I love when the vocals come in. John Fogerty just like, "Hey tonight, gonna be tonight." It's super good. Great vocal performance. Great kind of up tempo, more kind of rocking number. Yeah, this is another one of the best songs on the album.
All right, I'm in agreement with you guys. This is one of the best songs on the album. This is such a catchy rocking tune. I love the chorus. John Fogerty's vocals. The backing vocals are really cool in the chorus. And even the guitar intro, like Jason said, with the dueling guitars. Yeah, I love it. All right, our next song on the album is It's Just a Thought.
It's just a thought. Yeah, I can't believe I'm saying this. I really like this song. It's kind of like a country song almost. Has like a country style to it. I found this to be like a big highlight on the album for me. I really enjoyed the song.
Yeah, my thought on the song, if you get that joke, is I liked it at first. I mean, again, the organ here, you got some really good drumming. Again, I have to say, I really like the drumming on all these songs. And this one, I was like, yeah, I like the drumming. I like the organ at first. At first, it was kind of going, decent way. I thought it was pretty good, And then it kind of got, again, it just got kind of boring towards the end there. It was kind of, I don't know, the organ or something. It just dragged a little bit to me at the end where I was like, this kind of was starting good, but got boring towards the end. So overall, I was like kind of in the middle on this song. Not one of my favorites.
Nick, I'm there with you. I really like this song. It kind of reminds me of the song "Whiter Shade of Pale" by, I can't pronounce the band's name. It's difficult, but it's that 1960s song "Whiter Shade of Pale" that has like the classical style organ intro. It kind of reminds me of that. I like the organ on here. Kind of a slower, more soulful song. Like, still not like, I don't think this is top tier Creedence by any means, but for this album, it's one of the best songs on the album, in my opinion.
All right. What am I saying on this song? I think it's boring as sin.
Okay.
Let's go. Me, it's got agreed on something.
Yeah.
And you guys agree.
I like the organ part. It's pretty cool. And then there's the drumming at the end of it that really stood out. But I don't know. It seemed like John Fogerty was phoning it in on this song. And when I can tell an artist is phoning in his vocals, I don't really get that invested in it. And
Like Robert Plant on T for One.
Yeah, pretty much. This is like CCR's equivalent of T for One, but it's not as hot garbage like T for One. Because unlike It's Just a Thought, T for One the whole time.
It's a carbon copy of another better song.
It feels like a knockoff of a much better song they made. Here, this is just, it's just boring. All right, track number 9, second to last song. Molina.
Molina. This song rocks. This is by far the most underrated song on the album. I say "Wish I Could Hide Away" is very underrated, but this song's really underrated. The fact that this was never thought to be released as a single baffles me. I mean,
Wow.
I kind of get it because it kind of does sound similar to "Hey Tonight," but of the two, I've always preferred this song.
Okay.
This should have been a single.
I mean, they both sound very similar, so I'm not like knocking "Hey Tonight." I think that's a great song on its own as well. But if someone were to come into the basement right now and put a gun to my head and said, "Melina or Hey Tonight," I'd be like, "Hey Tonight." But yeah, this is a awesome rocking song.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of the catchiest songs on here. It really just goes down to that Molina, whatever, when they sing the Molina part, which is quite good in here. Yeah, I love that. It's great when they start singing that. So I'm with you. It was a really good, catchy song.
And before I get into my review of Hey Tonight, I just want to address one of the comments. This is not Journey, it's the Journey through CCR. You'll get to Journey eventually.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll do Journey at some point. I will say I can tell you my favorite Journey song. Don't stop believing it.
Faithfully. I love
my brother.
song.
My brother has returned. Brother.
Yes. Yeah, he was on our stream the other day, and he said Nick looked like his brother.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm nicknaming him my brother from now on. That's gonna be an inside joke. Well, it's not really an inside joke now, but
Rising.
Have you gone to Bass Pro Shops lately, Jacob?
Go pick up Garth Brooks' new
Garth
CD.
Brooks. How's Garth Brooks' new CD?
So Melina. This is a great song. I don't know why they didn't release this one as a single. This is really good. I love the saxophone that's on this song. It's just a feel good, upbeat, up tempo number that like it is kind of like Hey Tonight, but it's different from Hey Tonight. I like it. It's another one of the best songs on the album.
All right. Man, I love this song. If a certain song was not on this album, this would be my favorite song on the album. I love this song. The chorus is such an earworm. Paulina, what are you going to do? Paulina. See, this just feels like classic CCR to me. And it's great that it's still on an album that's not their best. And, people might say, "Oh, this is too similar to Hey Tonight." I can tell you what makes this song stand apart from Hey Tonight. That sax. That saxophone solo that John Fogerty does is amazing. And that's one of the primary reasons why I love this song, along with how catchy it is. All right. So we had 5 previous CCR albums, all of which, well, Nick disagrees on Nighttime is the right time. But most of their albums have had stellar closing tracks.
Yeah.
We have some good ones. We had
See the Light, was it?
Yeah. As long as I Can See the Light on the last album. We had Effigy on Willie and the Poor Boys. And we had, I'm trying to remember what the closer from
Keep on Chooglin'.
Keep on Chooglin'. I can't believe I almost forgot about the song. That song is awesome too.
Walk on Water, I think you guys can say.
Oh yeah, Walk on Water on the first album, which I wasn't as crazy on that one, but
it's better than the.
Let's see what CCR closes out this time. Let's see. We have Revolution 10. Oh no. Wait a minute. Rude Awakening number 2.
Where's number 1? We got number 2.
I think I know why they called it Rude Awakening number 2, but I'll wait until it gets to me. Yep.
Oh yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, my feelings was that it was way too long of a song, and obviously it's if I'm right, it's all instrumental, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm already singing in the song from what I remember. To me, it was just a long instrumental that was really boring. I did not like it.
Okay, so if I don't like something, I like to at least try to talk about why I don't like it. So I kind of like the first half of this song, kind of like a moody little instrumental piece, which if they would have like faded it out halfway through and stuck it somewhere in the middle, I probably wouldn't think anything of it and just call it Rude Awakening. But because they called it Rude Awakening number 2 and had all those weird sound effects and whatnot at the end, they're obviously inspired by the Beatles' Revolution number 9 and were trying to make some kind of artistic statement, I guess. But it doesn't work at all. This second half of this instrumental piece is just like Nick put the garbage can out, straight up trash. I always skip this song. Like, even though I said that the first half is kind of interesting, I didn't even listen to it whenever I listened to the album today. I've heard it enough to know that I just do not listen to this song. I always stop after Melina so that I can have a happy ending to this album, because this is... It's like, what is this doing here? Oh boy, this is pointing to what's going to happen on the next album. Because the next album... Most of the songs are... I might cut out. Sorry, but most of the songs bad like this on the next album.
Yeah. Garbage.
Garbage. This is the worst CCR song I've ever heard in my life. That's saying something, because I've heard Take It Like a Friend off the next album. But at least with Take It Like a Friend, that one is so bad it's hilarious. This one is so bad it's torture. Why would you use Revolution 9, what many people consider the worst Beatles song of all time, which is just 8 minutes of meandering, pretentious nonsense with obnoxious noise effects, and John Lennon going, "Number 9, number 9, number 9."
It's one of their engineers.
Oh, I thought that was John. But anyway,
it's one of their engineers. They just took a little clip of him going, "This is EMI tape number 9." But I'll have to save that for when we get to the
But why would you take that song and use that as an influence to make an obvious poor man's knockoff song and make it just as obnoxious? I don't even care for the guitar stuff at the beginning, because it's like, this is just some average instrumental track, but then everything else just makes the song 10 times worse. We're just like, it just sounds like you're in a band class and you've never played an instrument for the first time, and so you're trying to figure out how to play, and all you're doing is and it's like the whole room full of kids doing that, and it feels like you're in a madhouse.
Oh, that's so accurate. So accurate. So accurate. Oh my gosh. That's so accurate.
It's so bad. This might be worse than Revolution 9. I'm not sure.
No, it's not as bad. It's not as long and lingering.
They're both bad. They're both bad. And then the Rolling Stones has a bad take on this too, which came out before Revolution 9. Sing This All Together, Revolution 8.5. So
I will say, if you think that this is bad, you should listen to, and it was only released to radio stations for some reason on an exclusive 45 RPM disc. It's called 45 Revolutions Per Minute, and it's another CCR song. It's even more experimental and worse than this.
Oh yeah, not only that, but we have to cover that at the end of the Mardi Gras album, because that's technically a single.
Yep, it was just released as a promo single to radio stations, but it's even more experimental and worse than this.
Are we covering that though, Jacob?
We should.
I didn't know about its existence, so
It's shorter.
For my sanity, probably not.
You should at least listen to it, because it's It's something.
I'll say if you want to be a completionist, you gotta listen to those 2 songs. You'll have their discography to listen to.
We got Jacob Collins in the chat. Last one for me. Mine is Don't Stop Believing, favorite Journey song. Best part, you don't have to go to Bass Pro Shops to get it. You just have to get a time machine and go to Virgin Records to get it. All right. Thank you for stopping by, Jacob.
Good night, brother.
All right. So what is our top 5 songs from this album?
Well, my top 5. Okay. Number 5, Have You Ever Seen the Rain? Number 4, It's Just a Thought. Number 3, Sailor's Lament. Number 2, Wish I Could Hide Away. Number 1, Rude Awakening. Number 2, I'm just kidding. Number 1, Melina.
Oh, nice. I love that song.
And that's for a strong honorable mention. I say Hey Tonight.
Yeah. Well, 5, I got Melina. So my number 1, number 5 switched with you, actually.
Yeah, I'm just glad it's in your top 5.
That I'm looking at it. We switched on that.
That's good, though. Got give that song recognition.
But your number 2 is my number 4, Wish I Could Hide Away. Same number 3, Sailor's Lament, I think. We had a same number 3 on us. Number 2, Hey Tonight. And number 1, Ever Seen the Rain. Or definitely the top.
Oh,
2 of the best I've heard.
that would be hilarious if it was like a complete flip-flop.
I know. Yeah, almost. Not quite.
For me, number 5 is Melina. Number 4 is It's Just a Thought. That is in my top 5. Number 3, Hey Tonight. Number 2, Wish I Could Hide Away. And number 1, Have You Ever Seen the Rain?
All right. My top 5, well, I do have one honorable mention. That's Born to Move. That would have been my number 6. It would have made my top 5 if the organ solo was trimmed.
Mine is Sailor's Lament. That's my
Sailor's Lament,
honorable
your number
mention.
6. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, my top 5. Number 5 is Hey Tonight. Number 4, Wish I Could Hide Away. Number 3, Sailor's Lament. Number 2, Melina. And number 1, Have You Ever Seen the Rain?
Yeah,
Wow.
number 3, it's just Sailor's Lament is a number 3 song.
Yeah, that's a number 3 song.
I put it as my honorable mention.
It's your honorable mention, yeah.
Queen.
All right. Breyer says, we're nearing the big album roast of Mardi Gras. My notes are nearly complete.
That's
It's funny how all 6 people want to be on the Mardi Gras video.
No, Tyler's showing us on that too.
Yes, he said he wants to be on it.
So
Well,
it's so
I
good.
guess, Breyer, if you have the notes for it, does that mean you get to do the background information?
Probably.
Probably. Breyer is the historian.
I mean, besides Buffalo Springfield, that was Jason's spotlight on that.
Yes, and the Beatles. That's my spotlight.
I have no spotlight.
You do on Genesis.
Yeah, but I don't really have a whole lot of information on some of those albums.
You know I got the tea. Yes, Breyer, you gotta spill the tea. Spill the tea. Spill it. Spill it.
All right. What are we going to score this album?
I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10.
I'm giving it an 8 out of 10 still, because I still think there's some pretty good stuff at the top of this album, even though there's some bad stuff at the bottom. I'm still giving it a pretty good score for, I think, CCR. Not as good as the last, 3 albums, but on par with, the first or so albums.
Yeah, I said at the beginning of the video that I like this better than their first album. I even did that when I did the ranking of Credence on our video that we did way back when. But you know what? Thinking about Rude Awakening number 2 and how some of the songs are kind of boring.
Yeah.
And also thinking about how great I Put a Spell on You and Susie Q and The Working Man and 99 and a Half and Gloomy are. I'm going to say the first album is better, and this album is getting an 8.25.
Okay. Good.
So still pretty good, but not quite up to par with their other stuff. Still light years better than the next album, other than one particular song. But yeah, I mean, I like it enough to own it on record. I have the record here. I will not get Mardi Gras.
No, Briar will have to show that one up.
All right. So I'm actually going to have the lowest score. I wasn't expecting that.
I figured you would.
7 out of 10.
Yeah.
I almost gave this a 6 out of 10 if I was being honest. Because when I first heard the album, I was quite disappointed in this album because it was a major step down, especially since we had 2 10 out of 10 albums in a row. Willie and the Poor Boys, Cosmo's Factory. Listening to it a second time, I'm like, yeah, it's still not a great album. There are some really good stuff on the album. I like some of the experimentation. I respect it's trying to be more soulful than other CCR albums. But to me, what hurts it are the bookends. Pagan Baby is a weak opener. Rude Awakening #2 is a terrible closer. I think if the bookends were better, this would have been a better album. So that's why I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. And I've already done the math on the average score. Our average score for this album is an 8 out of 10 for the four of us, which makes it officially. I gotta get there on my notes. Between the four of us, it's averaged out as the worst CCR album to date.
Okay. Yeah.
But 8 out of 10 is still not bad.
Bad, yeah.
Yeah, right now, of course, the debut had an 8.5.
Okay.
So not too far behind the debut.
Not too far behind the debut, which is pretty reasonable.
Which I probably give the lowest scores on the first two albums.
At least everything is averaging to an 8 or higher this far. The next one, not so much.
Probably
Mine
not. No.
There.
Yeah, we got one final album to cover in the CCR review series. We'll have 2 special guests joining us, that being Tyler and Briar's Music Showcase. I think it's the first time Briar's been on my channel since me, Briar, and Jason did the Aerosmith stream a while back.
Oh, well.
So that's gonna be
Sometimes I get mixed up on whose videos are on which channel.
Me too. Yeah.
Just like I'm doing a stream tonight.
Yeah.
All right, so we're doing Mardi Gras next. Any final thoughts?
Yes, this is a disappointment. Even though it's funny, I gave it a 9 out of 10, but still technically a disappointment album compared to the previous 5. But we're gonna get even more disappointing going into the next album.
I kind of agree with Nick. It's somewhat of an underrated album. I think it's not as good as Cosmo Factory or Willie the Pool Boy. It's not up there, but yet for me, it's maybe towards the middle, but still a solid album.
Yeah, it's an alright album. Pretty good, but I mean, the last album was Cosmo's Factory. Like, after listening to that, probably expected a lot more out of this album than what you actually got, but still pretty good. I own it on record here. Like, if I don't own anything on record if I hate it.
Yeah, I mean, even though I gave this a 7 out of 10, 7 out of 10 still means it's a pretty decent album for the most part. I just like the other CCR albums a lot better than this album. All the other CCR albums, their first 5 albums, I gave a 9 or higher. So that tells you how greatly consistent those albums were. And so this was a pretty big step down. But I'm sure Mardi Gras is a lot worse, and I'm excited to dive into it because I want to dive into a bad album and just dissect it.
You want to know what's really weird? Because you've only heard "Take It Like a Friend," right?
Of the so-called bad ones, yes.
Have you heard any of the other songs on the album?
Probably not. I've heard the 2 hits.
Okay, because that's what I was going to say is that the album is a total stinker, and then Someday Never Comes. It just hits you with this masterpiece of a song.
Or like, where
It's
is
like
this?
finding a diamond in a pile of crap. You know?
Yeah.
All right. So we'll do Mardi Gras next time in this review series where Briar is going to spill the tea. All right. Good night, everybody.